What's up, y'all? Sports Mix, Big Kenny checking in. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel, man. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. By the way, the Ravens won today. Get that out the way first and foremost. But I want to talk about Terrance Crawford. You know, masterful performance last night. I'm not sure Canelo won a round, in my opinion. Maybe one or two, you know. But Crawford, in my opinion, man, is a boxer, man, that's kind of been floating under the radar, if you can say that about somebody that's 42-0. You know what I mean? Definitely wasn't getting the respect for you know, the performances he beat. You know, I think a lot of people kind of took notice of him when he beat Spence a couple years ago. The beatdown that he put on Errol Spence. But you know, with respect to, you know, big paydays, you know, big draws, you know, that Mayweather Tank Davis kind of is a draw like that now. You know, you really don't have that in the heavyweights. You know, you got the Jake Paul who's able to generate a lot of interest in fights just based off his popularity. His stuff don't have nothing to do with his skill level. But you know, with a boxer of the caliber of Bud Crawford, man, you know, do you think a performance last night against a caliber of opponent like a Canelo, is that going to elevate him to that next level, that next tier of you know, commanding the huge paydays, you know, be getting, you know, the endorsement money, you know, the things that come with superstardom, you know, 42-0. Again, I don't put a lot on boxers finishing their career with 0 losses. I think the totality of their careers is really what's important. And I think in my opinion, that's really what's missing in boxing over the last 25 years or so. You know, you had Floyd Mayweather, who finished 50 wins, 0 losses. And so you got a lot of people coming behind that feel like, if I get a loss on my record, that's going to diminish me in one way or another. So a lot of boxers are picking and choosing, you know, who their opponents are. They take safe fights, you know. They don't take a lot of risk in the ring, if you will. So I'm wondering, is this the type of fight? Is this the type of performance that's going to propel Bud Crawford to that next level of you know, superstardom in boxing? You know, his endorsement should go up, his purses should go up, you know, his visibility should be higher. You know, he is the face of boxing at this point, if you ask me. You know, and maybe he needs to be a little bit more active. You know, maybe he needs to fight a little bit more, especially now that he's up, you know, up in age. You know, he's on the back end of his career. You know, maybe if he fought a little more frequently, you know, maybe 2 fights a year. Just so that, you know, you and fighting quality opponents and having good cards, good undercards as well, you know, to draw that interest, man. Boxing is still, you know, a great sport, but it's just missing, you know, some key components, man. It's really missing the big fights, the big paydays, you know, not necessarily paydays, but the big name fights, the big name fighters fighting each other. So, you know, you got a lot of boxers in the lightweights, in the middleweights, in the welterweights, and those guys that got zeros behind their wins, but they're not fighting each other. You know what I'm saying? It's always, you know, we got to get the business right. You know, for the sake of boxing, for the sake of the sport, let's start making some of these bigger fights happen, man. Let's get some of these bigger names in the ring, and let's start making some of this stuff happen. But yo, what's y'all thoughts, man? Is this fight, is this performance last night by Bud Crawford one that's going to propel him into that next level of stardom in the sport of boxing and in sports altogether? You know, I just think with a performance like that, with his pedigree and his history, he should be, you know, one of those ones, man. You know, we should be seeing him on commercials. We should be seeing him, you know, endorsing products. We should be seeing him, you know, commanding those big paydays. Similar to what Canelo got paid last night. From what I understand, Canelo got over $100 million for that fight last night, you know, and Crawford, I think, got 50 million. So I think, you know, he should be in that $100 million conversation moving forward. But what's y'all thoughts, man? Talk to me. Bud Crawford.